The history of Esau, Edom, Idumea, and identifying who they are in present day. Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Genesis 25 and 25. And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Classic biblical baby names. Esau, a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire. Esau, language, cultural origin, Hebrew, meaning hairy, of interest. According to commentaries on Hebrew scripture, Esau is considered a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire. Perhaps we ought not to conclude this article without noticing the beliefs entertained by the Jews and Mohammedans that the original Romans were a colony of Edomites. Their accounts somewhat differ as to times and persons, but they agree in substance, and are also doubtless derived from the same source, the teaching of the rabbis. Hence the Jews applied to Rome whatever the prophets say of the destruction of Edom in the latter times. The Talmud calls Italy and Rome the cruel empire of Edom. All kingdoms of America that have been conquered by the kings of Spain are divided into several temporal governments, so in several spiritual jurisdictions, under the name of provinces belonging unto several religious orders, in their provinces. These, though so far distant from Europe, yet live with a dependency and subordination unto the court of Rome. America is an extension of the Roman Empire. Esau, Edom, is Rome. Esau, Edom. Edom equals red. Edom equals red. Genesis 25:30. And Esau said unto Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Obadiah 1:1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord concerning Edom, Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Not long before this time, the Romans adopted the eagle as the insignia of their standards, an emblem often alluded to in the Holy Scriptures when the Roman, the most terrible of the monarchies, is described as in its power. In Talmudic literature, Edom is often a disguised term for Rome, because in the Bible story, Esau is the rival of Jacob. When we remember that Antipater and Herod were Idumeans, Edom, and that they particularly delivered Judea to Rome for the price of a crown, the Rabbinic usage is peculiarly appropriate. Dictionary of the Bible. Antiquities, Biography, Geography, and Natural History by William Smith, 1863. I have several times shown that from Edom proceeded the kings who reigned in Italy, and who built up Rome to be great among the nations, and chief among the provinces. And in this way Italy and Greece and all the western provinces became filled with Idumeans. Thus it is that the prophets called the whole of that nation by the name of Edom. Esau is likewise surnamed Edom, being so called because he was red-haired. This the Arabs have borrowed from the Hebrew and call the posterity of Esau Idumean, Idumjan, the Edomites or Idumeans. They also give them the name of Banan or Bani el-Asar, the children of the yellow, fair, or red-haired man, which Edom signifies in the Hebrew tongue. But by this name they do not only mean the Idumeans or Edomites, but apply it likewise to the Greeks and Romans, whom they believe to descend from Esau. Mohammedanism fully explained, written in Spanish and Arabic in the year 1603 for the instruction of the Moriscos in Spain by Muhammad Rabbadan, translated in 1725. Esau, son of Isaac and Rebekah, and twin brother to the patriarch Jacob, it is by all Mohammedan historians called Esau bin Isaac. They tell all that story with very little variations from Moses' account of it in Genesis, only add that the blessing Isaac designated for Esau but gave to Jacob by the contrivance of his wife Rebekah, particularly regarded Jacob's posterity, out of which were to proceed the prophets and messengers of God, and this blessing being by God's appointment given away from Esau, he begged that his line might, instead of prophets, produce kings, emperors, and mighty men. And accordingly, most of the Mohammedan historiographers affirm that Esau had a son called Rome, from whom all the Greek and Roman emperors are descended. Mohammedanism fully explained, containing the life of Abraham and the distinction between the two lines, Isaac the father of the Jews and Ishmael the father of the Arabs, by Muhammad Ramadan, 1723. But for an in-depth look on the books, I suggest you to read Who is Esau, Edom by Charles Wiseman, who goes in depth about proving who these people are in page 11 of this book. Wiseman writes, the best historical evidence therefore shows that the Jews are not descended directly from the Israelites of the Bible, but derive much of their ancestry from the Khazars and other people of Turkish Asiatic blood. The Khazars are also of Edomite stock, and both stocks make up the present-day Jews. The German nation is half Nordic and half Alpine. The Jew belongs to a cult, but the dominant Jew in Europe, including about 3/4 of the whole body, are broad-headed Alpines, like the rest of the mid-European peoples. The most logical explanation is that the Polish Jews are the result of a widespread conversion carried on by the Jews in Eastern Europe. For instance, in 740 AD, the Khan of the Khazars who lived north of the Black Sea was converted, and many of this large nation of medieval traders followed his lead. Griffith Taylor. Racially, the Khazars were akin to the Turks. They were Alpines, and they are also known as the Royal Scythians. Indeed, the Polish Jews still call themselves Ashkenazim, which is a Hebrew word meaning Scythian. British Association for the Advancement of Science, 1938 through 1939. The origin of the Jews. The Jews of today fall within two main types, the Sephardic Jew and the Ashkenazi Jew. The Sephardim are also known as Spanish Jews and constitute about 5% of the Jews in the world. The Ashkenazim are the East European Jews, which were found in Poland, Russia, Germany, and Western Asia. This group of Jews make up 90% of the so-called Jews in the world. Many references and historical sources have unequivocally identified that the bulk of the Ashkenazi Jews were derived from a people known as Khazars. The original Jewish Encyclopedia of 1905 revealed that the main stock of the Jews came from this Asiatic people known as the Khazars. Definition: Khazar, a people of Turkish origin whose life and history are interwoven with the very beginnings of the history of the Jews of Russia. Historical evidence points to the region of the Urals as the home of the Khazars. As to the origin of the present Jews in Palestine, he states that the Jews derived from Eastern Europe are not descendants of the Judeans or the lost tribe of Israel, but rather descendants of the Khazars, a nation most people do not even know of. He writes, the Khazars were an Asiatic nation. The Jewish Encyclopedia states Persian origin that converted to Talmudic Judaism and that had conquered a vast area of Eastern Europe, which was to turn later conquered by the Russians in the 10th and 13th century. He writes, after a historic session with representatives of three monotheistic religions, King Bulan, 7th century, decided against Christian and Islam and selected as the future state religion the religious worship then known as Talmudism and now known in practice as Judaism. They adopted the Hebrew alphabet, and the Khazars adapted words to their requirement from the German to Slavonic and the Baltic languages. The languages was known as Yiddish. Yiddish uses the Hebrew alphabetic characters but is not Hebrew. Although they are called Jews, a term which is derived from the word Judah, these people are not true Judites, but became a mixed or hybrid people consisting of Edomites, Hittites, Canaanites, Judites, Babylonians, Ishmaelites, Huns, Khazars, etc. When they migrated to other lands throughout the centuries, they retained their Jew or Judite identity, but brought with them religion of Babylon.